Hopefully everyone's having a fantastic day, and here is how to anchor in Rainbow Six Siege. Regardless of your experience, this video can be helpful for anyone. Whether you're in a slump or you're just an absolute beginner, this should help. For those more advanced players, this is more so if you're in a slump or something. This just refreshes you on the basic roles on defense, and of course it's anchoring and roaming, and we're going to get into roaming on this one, which fundamentally means holding down the objective site. Regardless of the objective mode, you are on the site at all times or really close to the site in a connector room or somewhere near the site. So anchoring doesn't necessarily mean you have to be physically in the room with the objective A or B. Usually we're playing bomb now, as hostage and all that has been taken out of the rotation mostly. So the anchor could be located either on the objective site or in a location with a line of sight to the site, or in a connector room where you're watching a window or something, just something of use where you're near site and easily can see the bomb from where you're at. Obviously your goal every single defensive round is to just not let them plant or not let them kill your entire team. So obviously there needs to be a fair amount of roamers and anchors, but for newer players, anchoring is better as you don't have as much map knowledge. All roaming is just knowing more about the map than your opponents. While at anchoring, you could just sit in a corner with an ACOG and still get decent amount of kills, even in higher end ranked games. But the problem with the meta is a lot of teams are going just like 4 roamers, and you look back and you're the only anchor in sight, which becomes a problem. Roaming should be 1 or 2 players at most. Of course, there's a difference between lurking, anchoring, roaming. There's a lot of things. We're going to make a video on every single one, so stay tuned, hit subscribe if you want more, but this one's going to be solely on anchoring and how you could still lock it down even if you are the only anchor remaining in sight whenever you look around and see your whole team across the map. So before you even understand roles, just know as an anchor you're not going to get all of the action right when the round starts, and it's usually going to be at the later half of the round. So the first half, it's going to be a lot of time spent on your cam or just behind your shield, just chilling and watching a line of sight or something, and that's why people tend to want to roam more, and that's what causes this meta where everyone just starts roaming and spawn peeking instead of holding down the site, when at the end of the day you're going to get more action in the later part of the round and probably end up with more kills. So let's start it off. Let's go into some operators that are highly effective as anchors. So I'm going to go over a bunch of them that you might want to be considering when anchoring. So for the most part, you're going to want to look for an ACOG. Mostly ACOG operators are all anchors at this point. They took them away from, Jaeger, Bandit, and operators that with the 3-speed and even sometimes the 2-speed operators as well. This of course excludes Vigil's backup Boss G gun, the shotgun with the ACOG, which is kind of weird, but that is excluded in this as Vigil is a roamer. So we're going to go over some Doc, of course, Rook, Echo, Mira, Maestro, Cage, Smoke, and Legion. So those are just some base operators that you might want to look at whenever you're considering becoming a main anchor on your team. Only ones you might be questioning maybe is Smoke and Legion. Smoke, of course, is an anchor, but you could play above or below and just play the smoke grenades, as it is a 2-speed, has a SMG-11 and a shotgun. So that's a unique operator. We have a full operator mastery on that one. If you want to see more of that, just go look for that video on the channel, and that'll teach you how to play Smoke. You could play a lot of ways with Smoke. And Legion, of course, who a lot of people like to lurk, which is close to anchoring, and that's why I'm putting her on the list, or putting him on the list. So the reason Legion's on there is, for the most part, you use those Legion goo mines as you want to sit in the site and just keep putting them on the doors, and that's really how you trap spam in this game. Obviously, if you're roaming, you can not only put the goo mines near where you are and not towards the site, which at the end of the day, if you die, they're completely useless if they're across the map and you're roaming. But Legion could be suitable for either or, so I would say stay within the site boundaries when you're with Legion, but at the end of the day, it's always personal preference. Now we're going to go into some situational anchors that could be good anchoring and could be good sometimes not anchoring. So this is a short list here. I would like to say Pulse and Bandit are both situational most of the time. Bandit is good whenever he's an anchor if he is doing the bandit trick. If you don't know how to bandit trick, then it's basically whenever they're putting down the thermite, you put your bandit down and it destroys it, and they can't destroy your bandit fast enough. Now Pulse, it's good if you're trying to C4 them from under. Just think of Clubhouse, for example, when you're guarding basement and you can C4 the kitchen, and the Pulse really helps to know where they are. Some may actually argue that Rook can be a roamer. While I don't disagree, I still can get where they're coming from, as he has impact grenades and his operator gadget is kind of just a put down and you can run kind of thing. So I would use him for spawn peeking over most anybody, but at the end of the day, he's a 1-speed 3 armor and makes a lot of sound. So he's not going to be that hard roaming operator. Maybe just a quick spawn peek and get out, but you definitely don't want to be running across the whole map, as the sound that comes from 1-speed 3 armors is ridiculous. You can hear him basically from outside of of the building, so you just don't want to ever stick yourself in that bad situation. So make sure in general you're going to keep 1 speed 3 armors as your most effective anchors. So now that is all the operators and basically every basic operator that you're going to need if you want to be a really good anchor on your team. Out of everyone in the game of Rainbow Six Siege, anchors need to have the most patience. But what comes with patience is you don't need that much map knowledge. So that's always a good thing, especially if you are a newer player. And that's why I recommend this to be the first role that you learn on defense. And that's why I'm making it before I make a roaming one. So we're going to go through an example round as a ideal anchor. So first, for the first 30 seconds or so, you're going to want to hop on some cameras, see what's going on, and call out to your team. If you do that, you can really help the roamers get in position, so when they break entrance into the building, they have a really good spot at least slowing them down to getting to you. And if you don't know the callouts, just say they spawned east, north, west, wherever they spawn, just say that, and that can really help out roamers, even if you are just so new at the game where you don't know the basic callouts. Now that the 30 seconds are over or so, say 15 to 30 seconds, now that the attackers are basically in the building, hopefully, now it's time to do the most crucial parts of anchoring, and that is holding angles and peeking when you do see someone. It comes with time to know every good little angle on every site, and that'll happen over time if you stay consistent playing and have a lot of play time as the anchor. So I'm not going to go over angles to hold and whatever, but just know that you can't just stand in the middle of the room or lay down in the middle of the room and think it's going to work. You need angles, you need to punch holes, you need bullet holes, whatever you're going to do. Just make sure to hold some sort of angle and know when to peek. And that is, of course, whenever the round is going to an end, just quick peek and don't put your body out there too far. Your end goal is ultimately to have them have to make a stupid push that they didn't want to make. And of course, that happens as the time goes down. As 30 seconds hit, everyone gets frantic. Once it hits 15, everyone's sprinting at you. If you're holding your angle still, just easy kills. They just line up for you. As long as you have a decent reaction time, you should be able to get the kills and feel good about yourself. So the main pointers I can give you for holding angles is always make sure your angle is an uncommon one, not one that's just basic that everyone's always doing, like holding a main door or something like that. So what comes with that is you want your angle to be tight. So move your body as far onto the wall or whatever you're using as cover to guard your body, and only use as much as you need. So only your head sticking out and your gun barrel sticking out in theory. So that might be by using a peek hole and hiding behind the wall, and hopefully they don't wallbang you or anything, and that might work. And just make sure your body is concealed as much as you possibly can. The reason you want to hold a tight angle and not a wide angle is there is something called corner peeking, and other teams will do it on you as you rank up. So maybe they'll see you before you see them, and that is what's called peeker's advantage. And that is something you could avoid by staying in cover and staying at a really tight angle. But that doesn't mean just shove your head on a box. That could mean back 10 feet away from the box, hit your E key and look right, and you will get a deeper angle on the wall, and you won't be right on the box or whatever you're using as cover, and you have a deeper line of sight and they can't see you as good. Your main advantage is usually most defenders that are anchors have a better scope than most attackers. Ashes now don't have ACOG, so you don't have to worry about that. If you stay further away, you have a bigger advantage in the most situations. As for what gadgets you should be using, you usually have a chance between like barbed wire, impact, nitro cell, deployable shields, or bulletproof cameras. They've taken away deployable shields from a lot of anchors just because they don't want people to be making their own cover, and it's really just for Echo, and I believe Maestro has it as well, but they took it away from Doc and Rook. I don't know if Doc always had it, but Rook had it for sure, and they took that away and traded it for some impact grenades. So they're trying to mess with the meta a little bit and not just have a bunch of deployable shields, which is all cool and all, but if you have the chance for deployable shields, you can make your own cover, and that could be really good gadget. Or you can put it on a doorway, and that makes them have to jump through it, and you get the advantage on the angle that you're holding. But if that's not an option, always try to pick some barbed wire. It slows them down at their last push. They'll have to destroy it or run through and make a lot of sound. So as long as you have earbuds in, you will at least hear them coming, know where they are, and can hit them with a quick peek. So in conclusion, anchoring, the simplest way we can put it is you're going to use 1 speed 3 armors. The really beefy operators, you're going to use them as anchors. You don't need a lot of map knowledge. You can be a new player. This is the first defensive role that you need to learn before jumping into roaming. If you have no base of this game, start by anchoring, stay in sight, find an operator that you enjoy, try to get good at the ACOG site as it's a big advantage. So I would recommend first operators you trying to use are maybe Doc or try Echo, Maestro, Cade. Those are all good operators that have really manageable recoil as well. For the more advanced players, get good at Smoke, Legion. Mira is also a very good anchor. You're going to have to get used to being one of the last 2 players alive every single round, assuming your roamers aren't always living and fragging out every single second. And that's okay. You're just going to have to deal with the pressure, and hopefully, and if anyone ever does backseat game them, just tell them to be quiet and let you play, because at the end of the day, it doesn't help your performance, and you'll get really good under pressure when everyone's always watching you as you're the last one alive every time. And if they're saying, why don't you push? Why are you the last one alive every time? Because you're anchoring. It's because you aren't dying. That's at the end of the day, a lot of people will say that, and at the end of the day, you are the only one alive, so they can't speak. So hopefully this was helpful for you newer players, and hopefully this helps just get your mindset right. Even if you are more advanced, I know this is very basic knowledge, but sometimes it helps. Sometimes even making these videos helps me just remember that anchoring isn't just a new play style. You need anchors on every team, and really roamers can't do their job if they don't have anchors. So an anchor is so important in this game, and hopefully I answered some of your questions if you are newer. And if you wanted to see something more, just ask in the comments. I try to respond to everything within the first few days, and once it starts dying down, of course it slows down, but people are always there to help you in the community. So just message, ask a question, and people will be there to answer. I know a lot of more advanced people play and watch this channel, so they'll be happy to help you. I'm sure you guys will be happy to help them, as we want everyone to do good in this game, and we just have a great community here, and everyone wants to help each other. So hopefully you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and let me know what more you want to see out of the roaming edition of this. This will be out maybe next week, a roaming edition. This week we're going to be posting every single day, so stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.